Okay, so today we're going to discuss on how to create your site using Revit. So first, you have to click the new button, then change this to architectural template and press OK. Then we change first our units, so type UN to change our units, then change the length to millimeter, which I prefer, but you can change it what units you want. So press OK. And then here on our project browser, you can see here the different plans that we have. So we have floor plans, ceiling plans, and elevations. So here in the floor plans, you can see here the site. So this is where you will create your SAT or your light. So let's double click this one, and then here on architecture, on contextual tab, we have the massing and site. So this tab is responsible for creating your site. So this sides the conceptual massing and model by phase. So this is used for other drawings if you have irregular shape buildings. So you can use this conceptual mass and model by phase. But we are focusing here on the model site. So we have here the top of surface, site component, parking, then property line. So if you would notice, the other icons are grayed out because we haven't created our site. So to create our site or lot, so there are two ways. So the first way is by using the top of surface. So if you click this one, we'll go to our modify tab. So these are the tools for creating our top of surface or site. So you can see here the place point, then create from import. So place point, you're going to place point as your to create your site. So for example, let's change this to 0. So the default is 0 elevation. So if we click here, so currently the elevation is 0. So there are two ways to put elevation on our site. So the first way is by typing here in the option tab. So for example, 3 meters. There. So at this point, the elevation is at 3 meters. So for example, let's type 5 meters. Then last is 7 meters. There. So let's check finish. So this is the site that we've created. So if we look at our 3D, so this is the elevation or the site that we've created. So it's sloping. So the other method for creating your site is, again, so let's click the top of surface. So change this to 0. Okay, so we can just click here or place points first. There. Then let's press escape. Then for example, we want to have a height or elevation on this. So if you want to select multiple points, just press Control. Then you can type the elevation here in the properties. So for example, 3 meters. So there. If you have this, move your points here. There. So it won't create a depression on this part. There. You can use your arrow keys to move your points. So next, this one, if you want to have, again, for example, 5 meters. And this one, let's say 6 meters. There. So press finish. So if we go to our 3D, so you can now, we already have now our site. Okay, but there's other way. So the second way is by putting the bearings of your site. So this one, if you want to create a big site, you will use your topo surface. So for example, this is the vicinity map, for example. Then there's a part of here is your lot. So you can use the topo surface. So if I created my lot, for example, I don't have the bearings, what I do is to create guidelines. So you can go to the annotate, then click the detail line or type DL. So for example, I want a rectangular lot. So I have to create detail lines or reference lines. And then I'll have to go to massing and site, then put a points on my reference. So from here, I can already create a rectangular lot. So just have to delete the detail lines. So I already have my topo surface. Then another thing, again, for the second way of creating a lot is by clicking the property line. So here, you'll be asked if you want to enter distances and bearings or sketch it. So if you have your TCT, you can just click this one, then input all the bearings that you have on your site. So you can just insert here. So to add bearings there. So let's cancel this one. Next is site component. So site component is used to put components such as trees on your site. So let's click this one. Then we already have the default or the system families or models of the site massing or the site. So these are the trees that you can use on your site. So once you click this one, there. So let's cancel. So if you go to our 3D, so this is our or the trees that we input on our site. Then you can edit this one or the elevation. So there. So your components will follow to the site or to the slope or your terrain of your site. So if it's slopey, still your component follows on it. So you can edit the components, then always duplicate whenever you put components on your drawings. So there. You can change the height, you can change the elevation. Okay. So next is the parking component. So once we click this one, we can input parking space. So this is the default system or the system component of the parking components. So once we click here, then we go to our 3D. Let's cancel this. So as you've noticed, it follows as well on the slope of your site. Then building pad, this is used to create a pad on your drawing. So building pad is mainly used if your site is sloping. Okay, so let's go back to our site tab. Then click the building pad. Then these are the drawing tools that you can use. So I'm going to use the rectangle. So for example, this is the building footprint of your site, or for example, your lot per se. So you can use the building pad for your lot. So if you have a slopey terrain, so use this one. So if you go to our 3D, you can see here na nagkaroon ng depression because building pad is always at zero elevation, but you can change the level. So for example, you want to put to level 2, it will go up. Then you can also edit type here. Duplicate always the building pad, then edit the structure. So you can put always also layers or structure on your building pad. Next is, let's cancel this one. But before we go or we proceed with the other icons, so building pad is used to create as well roads, sidewalks. Then for foundations, you can use this one. So building pad, then the footing or column footing. Then split surfaces. So for example, I'm going to create a road here on a terrain. By the way, you may not use building pad if you have a flat surface. You can just put directly a floor on it. So split surface, for example, I'm going to create a road here. So I have to use a reference line. So I have to go to annotate, then click. Let's go to site. Then here annotate, then detail line, or type DL. So for example, I have a road here. So I have to use fillet or trim. So TR. There. So next is go to manage inside, massing inside, then split surface. So first click the site that you want to have a split surface. Then you can sketch your road, for example. So I will use split lines. Then make a fillet out of it. And let's trim. Then press OK. So we already have a split surface. So if we go to realistic here in 3D or shaded. Okay, so split surface only allows one area. So we have to do this separately. So split surface, then click this slot, then pick lines, then use this, then trim. Okay, so I already have a road, for example. Then we can delete this detail line. Okay, so if we go to our 3D, we can see here that we've splitted the surface. So this one. Then we can change the materials. For example, make it as asphalt. So for example, this one, asphalt pavement. Change this to realistic. So we have the asphalt pavement. So if we want to have a grass here, so let's change the materials to grass. So just add it on our project materials and click OK. So we have the grass materials. Then we can put, same as here, there. And we can put trees here. So site component, and this, there. So that's how you create your site using Revit. Here, merge surface, if you want to merge this one. For example, I have to merge this and this one. So it merges. So Control Z. Then subregion. If you want to, for example, we have, this is our site. So we want another region here. We can, let's delete this one. You can put it here. So for example, I have a lot here. So this is another topography. So there. So you can change the terrain here as well, or the finishes or the materials. So that's how you create your site.